Welcome everybody, Jack here from Gingerbets and welcome to the Gingerbets Golf Betting Insights weekly YouTube show. It's the first preview of the 2022-2023 PGA Tour season and we kickstart it with the Fortinet Championship taking place at Silverado Resort and Spa. Those of you that are new to the channel, let me tell you what's coming your way in the next 10 minutes and no more than that. Each and every week, I break down the course in detail. I then crunch the numbers, look at all the historic data, and bring you a breakdown of the key skill sets that are required in order to lift that trophy come Sunday evening. Following that, I reveal my best outright selections. So if that sounds like your thing, then I suggest you do two things. The first of which is like and subscribe to this channel. But in addition to that, you don't want to miss out on what you see over my shoulder here. A free weekly newsletter direct to your inbox, and it's going to contain so much more information than I can bring you in this short video. Go and check it out. All the details are in the description box below. So that's enough about Gingerbets and what's coming your way. Let's get in to this week's preview with a breakdown of that course, those all-important key skill sets that are required, and finally, those outright selections. And I've got a little something extra for you at the end of this video, so stay tuned. It's a resort course originally designed by Trent Jones Jr., recently redone in 2010 to bring it up to modern day standards. It is a par 72, but very short one at that, circa 7,120 yards from the tips. 4 par 5s that are super gettable by all the players. The longest par 4 only reaches 470 yards in length. So this is a short track that's there for the taking and it doesn't have many defenses. We'll come on to a couple in the key skill sets required section. Tree-lined fairways, a classical course, dog legs left and right. It's the greens that will probably challenge the players most this week. They're a mix of bent grass and Poana grain surfaces. So if doing your own research, maybe pay attention to players that put really well on the mixed grain putting surfaces. So that's the course that leads us nicely onto the key skill sets required. And as ever, we're going to take it from the tee box. So the first point that I want to look at this week, it's the start of a new season. There's been a few weeks rest for the players. I want players on side that have consistently gained strokes tee to green over the past 24, 36 rounds, and that's going to be the foundation of my research. Second up, on this course in particular, I'm looking for strokes gained off the tee specialists. That's players that don't drive it and hit it in the fairway all the time, but they consistently gain strokes over their competitors off the tee. It's important this week on these narrow fairways that you miss it in the right spots and still allow yourself access to the pins. It's about missing it on the right side of the fairways, not only hitting the fairways. You can be a bit wayward at this event and still have a real good success. Think Brendan Steele, think Martin Laird, and a few other winners along the way over the past 5 or 6 years. Then I want to look at proximity to the hole from 75 to 125 yards, and quite simply, it's because there is 35% of shots are going to come from that distance, significantly more than with standard PGA Tour event. So wedge in hand, who's dialed in? I've done the research for you, so you don't need to, but if doing your own, that's an area that I would pay particular attention to. Then want to look at strokes gained scrambling when looking at all the previous winners here. Despite it being a resort course, getting up and down is of paramount importance, and we want players on side that have got good strokes gained scrambling stats of recent times. And last but not least, we've touched upon it, it's a mix of bent grass and Poana grain surfaces on the putting surfaces this week. So we want to look for players that have certainly got a liking for the Poana grain. It's not for all players' liking, and we want players on side that statistically put well on these surfaces. But now it's time for those all-important outright selections. Let's get straight to it with the headline pick of the week. It is the man that has been hot in 2022. A win is just around the corner. He nearly won a big one, but threw it away on the 18th. But at 28 to 1, THEEGALA will be my headline selection of the week. He is a player that has outstanding attributes for this test ahead. He placed 14th here in 2019 on debut. He's long off the tee. He gains strokes over his competitors consistently off the tee. He's got an underrated iron game, and his short game is elite level. He ranks in the top 20% of all players in this field for strokes gained around the green and scrambling. He will headline the portfolio 28 to 1, 35 to 1 in the UK Unibet. Take advantage, will not last. Second selection of the week, same price, similar story, a player on an upward trajectory, a winner in 2021 at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Winless last season, but buoyed by a pick in the President's Cup. He's an amazing driver of the ball, hits it miles. He's got a similar profile to some of the previous winners here, in my view. An underrated iron game. His wedge game is absolutely first class. From 75 to 100 yards, he ranks third over the last 50 rounds on the PGA Tour, and that is going to stand him in good stead this week. Combining that with the fact that he's an elite level putter, gaining strokes in 10 of his last 12 events. Cam Davis, 28 to 1, second selection of the week. That's it at the top of the board for me this week. We're going to go right down that board now in terms of the market, and we're going to look at players around the 100 to 1 mark to round out the portfolio for the week. Third selection of the week then, Chesson Hadley, 125 to 1, BetMGM and in the UK with Unibet, Bet365 and a few others. Let me quickly tell you why. Well, he's got 4 top 10 finishes in his last 7 events worldwide. He's an aggressive golfer which suits these resort courses. He's going to make plenty of birdies. In addition to that, he ranks in the top 20 for par 4 scoring, for strokes gained putting and approach play over the last 24 rounds on tour. He's trending in the right direction. He loves the Poana putting surfaces. He's by far his favourite grain of grass to put on. 125 to 1, Chesson Hadley, third selection of the week. And the fourth and final selection of the week is a player that graduated from the Corn Ferry Tour just a few years back. He hits it miles off the tee despite being slight in build. He averages around 306 yards off the tee, which is significantly more than the Tour average. He consistently gains strokes off the tee over his competitors, but it's his iron play that attracts me this week. Iron play isn't critical here, but he is absolutely dialed in with iron in hand. He ranks in the top 10 for strokes gained approach play over the last 24 rounds on tour. His putting is the slight worry, but if he can gain strokes with the flat stick, and Poana grain is certainly his most favoured grain, then Alex Smalley at 110 to 1 BetMGM, 125 to 1 in the UK. He will be the fourth selection of the week. Plenty of winners outside the top 50 when we look back at the last 10 years of successful players at this event. Do not be shy to look down that leaderboard. In this full season events, you often get some upsets and certainly players that have been forgotten challenging the top of that leaderboard. So they're my 4 for the week. We've got THEEGALA, we've got Cam Davis, we've got Chesson Hadley, we've got Alex Smalley. My 4 to go to war with. I promised you a little twist at the end of this week's video. There's going to be a new video each and every week, and it's going to be a bit more fun, and it's going to be very short in terms of the time length to consume. Each and every week, I'm going to be acting as the bookmaker. I'm going to risk my bankroll, the whole of it, each and every week. And the reward, I'm looking for 10% profit. How long will it last for? Who knows, but we're going to give it a go starting this week. So the rules are, I'm going to risk my whole bankroll each and every week, and we're going to look to lay players to make 10% or lose the lot each and every week on the PGA Tour. So subscribe to the channel if that type of content sounds like your thing. Thank you very much for listening this week. I'm glad to be back. We're going to have a break next week. It's the President's Cup before the season kicks off again. Good luck with all your selections. Thanks for listening, and bye from me.